Hey, everyone, it's 8:30. I'm gonna call the meeting to order. Can we stand for the pledge of allegiance, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, look for a motion to approve today's agenda.
I'll make such a motion.
Second. The only thing that I might suggest is item number 20, the 2080 agreement. We don't have quite enough information to enter into a contract, so let's go ahead and table that to the next meeting, if that's okay.
Okay.
Motion and second still stand with that?
Yeah.
Yes, okay. If so, all those in favor say aye. Motion, I look for a motion to approve the minutes for June 10th.
So, no second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Claims? You've had a chance to look at those.
Yeah.
$588,909.43.
Make a motion to approve this now. I'll second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Meetings attended. Scott?
I didn't have any last week. I had to go out of town for a funeral most of the weeks. I did not have them even last week either. Do today.
Okay, we had department head meeting. Was that Thursday?
Yes.
Thursday. Mostly centered around policies in the handbook. And they are updating that. The board will be presented that, I don't know, next month, I think, July, to review and accept the new policy handbook of nothing earth shattering, just changing with the times, I guess, is the best way to put that. We had our last mental health meeting. I was unfortunately unable to attend Fairfield. It was basically a meeting just to say goodbye to everybody. Officially, the state now takes it over. And there's some representation in another district. We do not have anyone from Louisa County that is on, that represents Louisa County. I don't know if that's going to change or not. I guess time will tell. But as of now, the state is handling it. We were all together and took down a tree limb. Is that Saturday?
Yes.
I don't know what day it is anymore.
9:30 to 10:30.
Yeah, we took a great big limb fell out. We showed up and cut it all up, and thanks to Scott and some of his equipment, we got it out of there in record time.
Yep.
Less than an hour, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So that was fun. And I was able to attend Saturday, the Miss Iowa pageant in Davenport. And our local girl was crowned Miss Iowa.
Oh, yeah.
Lydia Fisher from Wapello. So she's gonna represent the state of Iowa. It was pretty exciting.
What's her name, Sean?
Lydia Fisher. So Eddie Fisher comes to the meetings. He's been to the last couple. It's his daughter. She lives here in town. So that's pretty exciting for her and I guess for our community too. It doesn't happen very often. So she did a great job. There was a couple others, but it was nothing important. So, item number 6, public input.
I have a couple of questions. Is any of these resolutions, transferring money, is any of that out of the sales tax fund into the general budget?
I don't believe so.
Will you be
no.
doing that this year?
Possibly next meeting.
Possibly next meeting. Okay, and then the other question is there anything moving forward on getting 5 supervisors? Because I think we've got enough money in the fund to do that.
Not as of
Not
now.
as of now.
Are you gonna be moving forward on that or
Someday, not today or tomorrow, but
someday soon or just some days?
someday before the election. How's that?
I'll keep reminding you.
We got other things that are currently a little bit more important than that.
Maybe in your eyes, and maybe not in
Yeah.
public's eyes, but anyway, thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else? No? Okay. I think you guys saw the payroll changes. Nothing. Had one resignation and one person that knows.
There's nobody there.
Let's talk about the LP tank. Scott, you did some work on this. We got I don't wanna disclose the amount of money because I think we might end up sending this out for bid. I don't wanna do that, but
So, yeah, so I finally got a quote from Farm Service on it. Yeah, I've been talking to Justin every week. I called him this morning from the elevator and he finally got a hold of the other outfit he's been trying to get a quote from is from New Hampton. And the guy's secretary said that he'd been in the hospital again. And that he definitely wanted to come down, but you know, this has been going on for a year, but he still says he's coming down. And the only other, I contacted a company from Michigan I found on the internet, and he said he could give me a quote just with pictures, but I didn't pursue it yet. I kind of wanted to see where Farm Service fell in, because means they're local and.
The only thing that I wonder is, anybody that does HVAC work with propane would think that they would be qualified to be able to put valves on a tank. Wouldn't they?
Well, so when Farm Service, it just kind of looked up to Farm Service, one of the repairmen was over in Wyman that day when I called over to see if they had anybody. Like within 10 minutes, he showed up, so they came over and looked at him. And he said that he was surprised anybody even fill that tank because the leaks for one thing, and then there's actually 2 safety valves that are
Fired.
So there's things that he said that some of the things weren't code back whenever, but now there's code, and them safety valves should be on there.
Yeah.
And he said there should be record of a public meeting place inspection like yearly.
Well,
And
that can be done in our
Yeah.
department head meeting at the complex, but still, yeah, I don't. The amount of money that to do the repair, I didn't necessarily think was out of line. They gave us a price to paint the tank, and I thought that was.
yeah, I
a
agree that,
little suspect. That's why I'm kind of like, you know what? Really like to get a second opinion.
yeah. And, you know, I've been, and Justin from the elevator, I think has been hammering that guy, but just not
Yeah.
getting anywhere with him, but.
I'll make a phone call or two to some people I know and see if, just ask questions.
And the big thing, so the repair on that, they got probably the most, or I don't know, most expensive, but they gotta drain that tank. And then they gotta burn it off for a day or two to get it completely empty.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that's
Cost.
cost of
Yeah.
it.
I have no doubt.
And I told him, well, so I think we found at least 3 leaks around the valves and stuff. And then I'm assuming it's what Blue Flame did a few years ago. The pipe underneath the tank's got this blue stuff on it. And I asked Brandon when he was out there, I said, did they drain it then? He goes, no, but that's where it was leaking a couple of years ago. But I'm like, well, you can't just fix something by coating on the outside. So I told that Farm Service, I said, we need to take everything off and put everything new on there if we're gonna drain the tank.
They did repair a year and a half ago, maybe 2, shortly after I got on, and I went back out there and you could smell it. And
Yeah,
I kind of complained and said, oh, they said it's fixed. I'm telling you, it's not fixed.
yeah.
So this has been an argument for quite a while about this, so. I don't wanna just drain LP out into the atmosphere.
I think we just filled it too.
Huh?
I think it just got filled.
Well, it'll get sucked out and then
Yeah.
back in.
Just a lot, like we.
I know.
But
Well, and just recently they filled it? 'Cause
I
it
think
was,
so, wasn't it in February?
oh, well, it was sitting like about 50% when I was out there a couple of weeks
Good,
ago.
okay, so we did get some use on it.
I mean, it ain't full, but there's still a lot in there.
Well, let me make a couple calls and we'll see here in the next. I'd like to move on it no later than the end of July, so
Well,
we can
Yeah,
get things ready for winter, but. If nothing else, we might be able to accept the repair and have painting done.
well, and then they gotta set up some sort of a, cause he said it'd probably take, at least a couple of days, so they'd have to set up something
Yeah.
portable for cooking and
Oh,
hot
that's
water too, so,
This cooking would still be under gas.
yeah,
I haven't thought about that.
yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'm trying to figure it. I'm not here yet.
Skip to 11.
Yeah. Yeah, to number 11. Approval to proceed to vacate the alley in the Ashland subdivision. We kind of talked about that last meeting. I think we're all kind of in agreement with what Adam had suggested. And, any further discussion on that? I got the papers right here. I haven't heard any
Haven't heard any
comments or complaints from any of the joining property owners. There's some here. Yes, no, we're good?
I'm fine with that as,
Okay,
no,
if you're not, then let me know. We'll go ahead and move on. Okay, I would look for a motion to proceed to vacate the alley in Ashland subdivision.
You got anything to add, Adam?
Yes,
Oh,
so just procedurally, we'll need to set a public hearing, and we can do that by resolution, next meeting, but there are some things I need from you guys as far as direction. You can transfer the property in the same document, so you don't have to go through the process twice if you want to. Normally it would be vacation, there'd have to be a public hearing and then a resolution vacate. And then do the resolution for a public hearing and have a public hearing on disposal of the property. And then if you have a resolution and sign deeds to dispose of the property. You can do both the resolutions and public hearings together if you want to. But then we have to know who the property is going to, when we're doing the vacation. And so right now, I don't know if, I assume mine was a copy, maybe it was an original, from Mr. Beating, who owns one lot along the alley, indicating that he did not want his and wanted to have his given to, the Murrays. I didn't know if you wanted to deal with that whenever.
I haven't written that.
I don't have that written down. That's the Harry Dickey property there.
Would be the lot next to Curtis.
here's a meeting of it now.
Yeah, it's probably the same property, right?
That's the
Mm-hmm.
This is
Yeah.
orange section there.
Okay.
But I think it was mentioned at one time, possibly just deeding it to all the adjoining landowners and letting them figure it out afterward, which is fine.
Right.
Or if you want to deal with this now, we can do it now. And then the other, issue, I'm not saying it should be one way or the other, I don't have an opinion on it, but, the alley, when Adam drew up the proposal, I don't think it was known that the Mears property is in a different subdivision than the other properties and the whole alley. And so part of it's going to the Mears and part of it's going to Kerr on the north-south strip. And that's fine, but I just wanted the board to be aware that it would be going into a different subdivision, yeah, so.
I don't see a problem with that.
Yeah, I would also say that the access to both the Kerr and the Mears property was established back in the 70s. I mean, that was you know what I'm saying?
So
Cool.
it's a long-standing double.
Yeah.
Driveway.
Yeah, yeah. I don't see a problem with doing both at the same time. They're all kind of all the same issue. Just do it separately, just drags it out even longer, so.
And I would say we vacate it to the property owners, and if the property owner wants to give his piece to somebody else, they can draw up the paperwork for that on their own.
I agree. And I think my only other question is no money's changing hands, right? But, okay.
I would like to be clear my opinion on that, because it's gonna come up again. Is that this was never really public road or street versus, we're gonna have one coming up in Wyman. That's gonna be abandoned, one of their old city streets, but that at one time was public right away. So,
So that'll probably be more of a purchase.
yes,
Yeah.
I'd like for a motion to proceed and have Adam proceed with, vacating the alley. So moved.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries.
All right, we'll try and have a resolution then for you, setting a public hearing at the next meeting.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We'll back up to item number 9, Adam's here. Adam, how's everything going?
Everything's going well. Getting, some work on the foundation of the assault shed, getting done today, so. Things progress on that. Crews are out bitching. Yeah, again, up west of Letts and over by Wyman. Got that going on. What else we doing? We are doing some, weed spraying, got guys out with the brush mower, doing some work up there, so. Pretty much everybody's got something to do, and we're staying busy on that. We're gonna get our utility truck, which will be the base for the sprayer really, and the future snow plow at some point. That'll be in today, so get that. It sounds like our end loader was gonna go up to Junction, will be in next week, and probably our skid loader will be in at some point too, so. Getting a lot of equipment in, and with getting all of the titles and all that, it keeps us busy. What else we got going on? Got guys who are going up to the Highway 92 meeting today. So. Busy, I guess, so.
So I guess we can roll into number 10, then we got a application for county right of way again. Fiber optic along K Avenue and 70th Street from Louisa Communications.
Did you bring the documentation?
Yep. Yeah, so I didn't bring it last week because I was sick. Didn't think about it, but so.
You don't have any problem?
Nope,
Okay.
I think that's good, so.
Yeah, I look for a motion to approve the application. I know it's on there, application.
I'll make a motion to approve the application.
One second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Who made that motion?
I do.
Good luck with it.
We can do that, right?
Thank you.
Yep.
Certainly. Yep.
That's
That all you had, Adam?
Yep, that's it. Any questions for me? Anything going on with the crowd?
Where are they ditching at?
Wyman, east of Wyman there, north of that on Big Curve. And then they're west of Letts, so on P Avenue.
Well, they go with the dirt.
Any chance we can, we are putting them on dirt roads. Occasionally we have adjacent landowners asking for it, and if it's close, we can get you some, but. used to be a policy of like, this is before my time, that if you wanted dirt, we'd haul all of our reclamation for it, and that ain't happening. So. Anyway, all right, guys, thank you.
We're gonna move down to 14, so we can get Adam in and out. Item number 14, resolution 202527, inter fund transfer from general basic to county attorney recovery money fund. Say that 10 times fast. Let's talk about that for just a little bit. So, for the people in the audience, we hit a threshold, right?
Yeah, so it's county attorney delinquent fine collection program money, and several years ago, maybe like 10, the state changed the code and allowed delinquent fines were not gonna be collected. And so they wanted a new mechanism to do that, and they authorized county attorneys to start a program where the county could get a portion of the funds, and then once a threshold is reached based on your size of county, the county attorney's office can get a small, I think it's 5% of the funds. And the percentages get jiggled around a little bit. So, since then, for about 10 years, we've been collecting, and when the fund was set up for the county attorney piece of it in my budget, it was set up under the general fund, and the code probably anticipates, segregated funds in its separate fund, kind of like the forfeiture fund and some of the other funds that we have, because they can only be used for certain purposes. So it's just transferring the money that's already in the general fund designated for that purpose to a special fund designated for that purpose.
Okay, forward.
Yep.
You talk about the threshold, what's that number? Is that a number?
Yeah, so it depends on the size of the county. For our county, it's $25,000. So once our office has collected $25,000 annually in delinquent fines, surcharges, court costs, those kinds of things, then it triggers that change in percentages.
Yeah, I just wonder what the number was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and typically now, early on, of course, in the program, it was hard to collect money and it was just brand new starting up, but now we usually hit our threshold in about the fourth month. So.
Okay, with that, I would look for approval of resolution 202527.
Motion to approve resolution 22527.
Not second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Just as a side note, we are working on the spot for the new assistant county attorney. It'll be probably at the end of the hallway down here. The only thing I'm holding up on is Leah comes back from public health from vacation on Thursday. We're trying to find a spot for the nest out there. And I don't want to make any move until she's back. I don't want to bother her because she's on vacation to see if there's a spot. If there's not a spot, then we're just gonna have to. I want to go do something else, I guess. I don't know.
As far as the nest,
Yeah,
well, let's stay out of that. As long as the assistant county attorney.
we'll have a spot for you. We're working out the other details.
Sounds good. Yeah, we've been working on furniture and computers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
All right, so that was my next question. I'll stop over your office, but about the desk,
Tracy's putting it together,
as far as the chairs.
yeah.
Does he want to put together a desk? too?
Yes, the answer is yes.
It depends on.
You don't ask those questions, you say he wants.
Oh, yeah. I'll be that, I'll be so.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
All right, let's back on up to item number 12, then the resolution 202525 is an inter-fund transfer from rural services and general basic to secondary roads in the amount of $762,817. That is a big number, but this is standard procedure of when we get our tax money in, that the roads department gets their portion. So this money is scheduled, just like any other year, be moved to the general or to the roads department. So. I look for motion to approve resolution 202525.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 202525.
I'll second it. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Signature on
Yeah, great.
it. Everybody sign
Everybody signs it.
it? I didn't know if you just filled it in or.
No, everybody has to sign it.
Okay, I'll put your John. There we go.
Otherwise we'll be calling you back.
Mhm. Okay, moving right along to item number 13, resolution 202526. Fiscal year appropriations beginning July 1st, 2025, which is just a couple of short weeks away. We kind of talked about this a little bit. This is just basically setting the amount of money that we're budgeted for the year. I can read them all off if you want. I'll go ahead and do that. This was approved in our budget approval, but I won't read the whereas and who owes, but I'll read the amounts that will go to each department. Amounts appropriated for each department is the Board of Supervisors is 136,563. Auditor is 284,629. Treasurer is $286,035. Attorney is 342,601. The sheriff is $2,335,599. Recorder is $159,518. Reef, 11,600. Conservation land acquisition, 90,000. Road clearing, 30,000. County engineer, 5,400,700. Veterans Affairs is 59,398. Conservation Board is 570,936. Board of Health is 678,913. Weed Commissions, 3,894. Department of Human Services, 4,500. County Complex is 170,500. Medical Examiner is 29,500. The jail is 1,063,300. District Court is 80,550. The libraries is 55,532. Historical Society is 3,000. General Assistance, 14,675. General Assistance Administration, 60,425. Personnel, 254,000. General Services, 126,501. Information Technology is 344,611. Zoning, 63,320. Sanitation, 81,385. County Insurance, $83,160. Other Community Services is 4,400. And non-departmental is $2,430,081. That's a lot of numbers. I would look for a motion to approve resolution 202526.
Do you have a total for that, Sean?
I do not have a total.
It's the full amount of the budget for the
Yeah,
county. I don't have
I
the
don't
grant
have
total.
that.
Sorry.
And we have enough tax money coming in to cover that, right?
Yes. Yes.
Did I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion for resolution 202526.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. We need to sign all this too.
Yes.
Jacob, you're number 15.
Sure.
Get me.
We, the conservation have concluded
Most of our field trips for the spring, all the schools are now out. So there's no more school field trips, and so we moved into nature camps. They are 3 to 4 hours. Atlanta would correct me on this certain number, but there's a morning session and usually an afternoon session of 10 to 15 kids every week until like July 15th or something. It's a crazy busy schedule. So they are absolutely rocking it. You've probably seen the Facebook post. I don't know if you follow the conservation board or not, but you should, because you get pictures of kids all the time and they're doing super fun stuff. Given that we're out of that season, Lana did some number crunching and she found that there were over 5,000 faces that she saw, or our team saw, last year alone in Louisa County. So that's repeat kids. Like, so if you go to the second grade twice, there's 20 and then you do another 20, but still 5,000 faces that they saw this year. That's astonishing. I just very proud to have, that was students pre-K through 12th grade. And then in the adult only classes, there's like 200 adults that she saw. So just super awesome for them. We have our River Raiders camping and paddling trip in the northeast Iowa coming up. That's in July. And then River Paddlers, which is around here, Langwood, Lake Odessa, Iowa River, areas like that. Those are coming in July too. So we've got a huge summer planned. We have a position open for the replacement of Sarah Martinez. She was our naturalist, and so she is going to go to grad school, and we're replacing her with a naturalist technician because our technician position is still, hanging there. So instead of having one or the other, we're going to try combined. And I've gotten a handful of applications, and I think we have a promising future ahead of us. So I'm very excited about that. Today, we are going to go install some signs. I've talked about them before, our big 2x3 interpretive panels at Wilson Prairie, north of the county here. We have 9 of them. They were given to us through a donation. And so they're awesome. They're great signs, but we've been hanging on to them for a while, and now they're going to be installed. We have a grand opening penciled in July 10th. I don't know if you guys would be interested in coming, but when that gets penned in, I'll definitely send an official invite or be here for it.
Yeah.
Mowing at the office, I think Brian's just absolutely being a hammer. So he comes to me occasionally. He's like, all these great ideas. We're gonna get him a roller. The conservation's got a roller that we don't use too often, so we're gonna store it at the office complex, and he's going for
He
it.
wants a roller because it's too rough.
It is
Smooth.
Yeah, he's gonna shoot my head out.
Motive here.
Yeah, which is good for him because then you can
Yeah.
go faster every time. It makes sense, but I think his head was about to fall off the last time he did stuff. Which is good. You save time, you save money. That's how it works.
Just get some rain, you can
Yeah.
put that roll on there.
He's excited. Yeah, he's stoked. There's a hole in the back of the mower. It's not a true heat research, but there's a hole that we'll be able to do something for it. We got a frisbee golf course at Eden Park coming on Wednesday, tomorrow. So that'll be super fun. They're bringing their discs. They said it's gonna be raining, but yeah, they're disc golfers, right?
So it'll all be done and completed.
Yeah, it should be open to the public. It might not be perfect because we'll have to like do some tree removal and maybe a little bit more mowing on the fairways, but it's open enough to play. There's gonna be baskets and T-posts. There won't be 2 pads. That's a little bit expensive this year, but maybe in the coming years, there's room for it. You just draw the pad and be done. Yep. Getting ready to do my annual report. I think I have to actually do a report for you guys legally in code. So, I don't know if it'll be, some mid-July time. I'll take 10 minutes of your time and go over what we did this year. And Memorial Day weekend went awesome camping wise. We were totally full, other than 2 spots I heard.
Wow.
Every campsite. Well, not a Flaming Prairie. There was a lot. There's probably 7 campers, but there's like 30 sites there. So, but Snively was packed, and Virginia Grove was totally full. So.
Good.
Yeah. Any questions for me?
When are they gonna do the repair on the building?
Early July.
Okay.
I don't know how that's gonna fall for 4th of July, but
and it's
doesn't matter.
out and out of the way.
And he came and visited. We don't need to do a lot of prep work on the building. It's bare on the inside, so it's anything that's touched sheet metal, he said, we gotta get out of there, but other than that, he can work around the sheds next to it and the buildings and.
Yeah.
And I have a question about the courthouse trees. I can stick around for that if I might have some.
Yeah.
I got a question for you too. whenever you-
Yeah, go for it. One of those.
On the income from Snively's.
Yeah.
What do you have earmarked for using that night?
We spend more than we get for income there, and so nothing gets earmarked.
I have a question about Langwood. Do you have a lot of demand for that?
It's relatively full.
Usually
Usually
throughout the summer, every week?
not every week for sure, but every second or third week for sure. We've had 2 weddings there this year. We got reservations out. I mean, I can look at the calendar. And,
Just wondered.
yeah, every second or third. If you wanted in, you wouldn't probably get your choice of date, but you'd get one on each side.
So on Snively's,
Mhm.
we had this brought up at the conservation meeting, the state won't allow us to keep that money, all that money has to be invested back into that area, so. There is a certain amount of money involved to keep it running, and that usually chews up most of it. But if there is any extra, then they're putting pads or power requirements or whatever, repairs to the bathrooms and whatnot, so.
We're not allowed to, so it's federal grant, it's
Yeah, they
United
make
States
profit.
4, yeah, so we're not allowed to make profit.
All right, I was just, looking at the numbers that were down there over
Mhm.
Memorial Day weekend. Sizable amount of money, and you're only talking about one weekend,
Yep,
so I was just thought maybe you had something planned for it down there.
that's just what it takes to keep it going. It's
So you
It's
get
a
to
lifestyle.
take, you get to take like manpower off of it and stuff.
Yeah,
yeah,
mowing,
and power.
rock on the road,
Every time Danny takes a phone call, we track all that stuff. And if not, we get really good estimates and do our best. Yeah, we got a whole spreadsheet for it.
Okay, thanks.
anything else for Jacob? Okay, let's move along. Cindy, your item number 16, you got a minute?
Right, just a quick update on general assistance. The phone and foot traffic for May was 44 phone and 10 foot. The bubble food pantry took place, April 25th and May 28th. And we'll have it again on June 25th. Then, food pantry here for May, the numbers were 31 households and 72 individuals. We do have the Healthy Kids Iowa program running right now. So any family from 4 to 18 children, they can pick up a box. It's $40 worth of groceries. So they can sign up for that. It's located in 3 places here in Louisa County. It's at the pantry here in Wapello. It's at the LULAC pantry in Columbus Junction, and also the Community Action Columbus Junction Food Pantry. So that's available to households. And then we're also telling people about the food pickup on Tuesdays at the Wapello School, the elementary school. And they have it also in Grandview at the park for summer program food. So lots of opportunities to keep kids being fed through the summer. And then I had 2 notice of decisions. One was denied because the utilities were not in their name that they were wanting to apply for. They had some rental properties that were in jeopardy of being shut off. And then there was another one that was approved for City of Wapello utility bills. Any questions?
Anything for Cindy?
No.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Kurt, you in there?
I am.
Front and center.
Oh. Morning. Little details about the budget. We'll start off, 13 claims going on. And we're at, 343,000 for vets receiving, benefits from VA. I've got about, just under 12 grand left in the budget. Expenses that are pending, a little bit over 6,000, and that leaves, a little bit under 6,000 that'll be turned back over. Majority of that is, soldiers relief funds, rent, food and such. 19 in the care center, that's gonna go down today or tomorrow as a veteran, moving out of Wapello back to Burlington. There you see the money for the fourth quarter. I don't anticipate with the nice weather and everything else going on, maybe somebody might come in for food, but the rest of it probably not. Next month I go to Kentucky for a week. Nothing new with the van, one completed, trip and one pending, waiting for a volunteer to step up. Nothing further planned for this year for outreach. And, still looking at taking a week of vacation next month. And still trying to get, IPI, the prison industries, to get back with me about the signs. They are. I don't know if it's the inmates that won't email me or what, but they are slow to communicate. Any questions? Short and sweet.
Can I ask who your contact is at IPI?
I can forward you the
Yeah,
email.
do it, because if not, we can use our guy.
Oh, yeah,
They get back to us within 2 days usually.
this guy, not within apparently 2 months.
Oh, good.
He has,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
So,
Oh,
all right.
Okay, thank you, Curtis.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Okay, item number 18, so we got a whole bunch of fireworks permits. We don't even have to go anywhere. We just sit in our front lawn and watch the fireworks. Christmas. I'll go through them. Marlon O'Donnell in Conesville, Dave Hills in Flemish Junction, Grandview Community Club, Donald Lindholm, Morning Sun, Becky Eustler, Flemish Junction, Lakeside Club, which is out here at the lake, and Brian and Tammy Louise with the Columbus Junction address. I would look for a motion for approval. I don't think we've had any problems with these people in the past, and they went through the proper application process.
Make a motion to approve the list of fireworks permits.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Uh,
Hey, look at it, looks like Columbus Junction's gonna be lit up.
Yeah, right. They are.
You have to sign it.
I'm signing all of it.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the trees at the courthouse. We were there Saturday, cleaned up a fairly good sized limb. As a matter of fact, last week, we looked at some of those trees. It was ironic that we had a limb come out because we have a dead one on this side. I don't know what kind of tree that is, but
the big giant?
it's pretty good size.
Not the big
Not
top.
cotton.
It's closer to the courthouse. Move into the, closer to the courthouse, there's one there
It's-
instead.
Completely.
I mean, there's one or
If it's
two
probably-
branches that's got some leaves on them, but
But it's pretty
It
well,
might, it might be an ash.
it's pretty well done. It needs to come down, before it falls down. We'd probably contact some, I talked to my father-in-law. He got a lot of contacts. They took a tree down at the, cemetery. So he's gonna forward all those contacts to me and we'll try to make some contacts and see if we can't, figure out what that's gonna cost.
You hate to see it, but someday that big cottonwood,
I know, we need to talk about that.
gonna happen.
Report had it, I don't remember who told me. That 12 foot down the center of that is hollow.
Oh, I believe it.
there's a big hole up where the crotch of the limbs is,
We would have.
and they said
bid
you
on it.
just look right down through the center of it, so.
So I'm wondering if we should not at least get a bid on it while we're getting a bid on the other one, just see what it's gonna cost, but that thing is huge. And, I would hate to have it fall and block the highway. Or if it's tall enough, may actually fall over and hit the building and the house on the other side of the street. Thing is huge. So,
Yeah.
and then I think we identified a couple other pretty scraggly limbs hanging onto some of the trees that look like they probably ought to be taken care of, so I'll, make some calls and try to get some bids in here in the next couple of weeks and try to make a decision on what I'm gonna do.
I don't know if it'll make, I mean. That's what we do. I don't wanna volunteer all of our time to cut down trees, but if there's ever like, if it's just a limb.
We've got a couple of limbs. Well, the one tree we took the limb off of, there's another limb hanging out to the south that probably should come off. And then there's a.
Well, that one that fell off was,
Yeah.
where it started was about like a tree.
Yeah, or like, if limbs fall in the yard, like, we're set up for this, we got saws on saws, we got people on people, like,
Yeah.
Bring us
it
in.
Worked out.
Okay.
But, thank you for that.
Yeah.
And then there's a tree right in the corner that's got a couple of dead limbs kind of facing us that might wanna look at
Yeah.
kind of hard.
we don't have any like scissor lifts or anything, or braces or harnesses, but. Especially if it's on the ground, that's where we shine. Bunch of saws and dump truck, let's go.
Okay. Well, we might get together with you and we'll identify some of the limbs and maybe we can get those taken care
Yeah.
of. And
And a skid steer with a grapple, just drive it over from the shop. and-
I'd like to get some of that maybe tidied up before the 4th of July or the Chief Buffalo Days thing. We also talked about, writing up a liability type paper. Cause I made a joke and after I made the joke, I guess it was kind of serious that good thing that limb didn't fall during the car show. Or
Oh my goodness.
with a pile of people, cause it just fell out of nowhere. There was no storm, there was no
There's a
wind.
bench sitting right next to that
Yeah,
tree, and the
so-
branch, here's the bench, and the branch fell out right.
I would be happy to let people use the courthouse lawn, but I think whoever's in charge probably ought to sign some sort of a waiver of liability that says, hey. You know, they didn't have to be a tree. Twist an ankle on a gopher hole or whatever,
Yeah.
that we make sure that the county is not liable.
That might be, so like our parks, anybody who uses our parks, they're at their own risk.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that blanket policy for our liability covers the courthouse.
Well, then they should also be responsible for any damage they cause too.
You need everybody to sign that,
Yeah.
that puts their car there, not just
Exactly.
one person.
Yeah. Well, I know when I ran the car show, they signed in, and when they signed in, there was a waiver of liability when they signed.
To who though? To the courthouse, to the county?
Both. So the organizers and the courthouse, but there's a different person that's running it now, and I don't know what he's doing. I guess at this point, I wanna make sure that the county's covered, so.
I think if you know that there's a dead limb, I don't care if there's a waiver signed or not.
Yeah.
You already knew about that issue.
Yeah.
And you didn't do it.
Well, this particular limb that fell.
I thought
it
was
wasn't
tree,
dead.
drive down the
Yeah.
street.
It wasn't dead and there wasn't any rot left
Yeah,
on the
it
tree,
just
nothing.
came out.
It's kind of bizarre why it
Yeah.
fell like
Already
that.
know.
So anyway, I think we're gonna work on some paperwork that direction. We'll prove that later on. We tabled number 20 for next meeting. The only one's left is adjournment, unless somebody else has something to add.
Make a motion to adjourn.
One second.
All in favor, say aye.
All right.
Okay.